first thing, I'll try to explain how the function itself is working, and I will use Python to help me. Let's just move that to one side so that I can start Python. Let's get the shell going. Okay, there we go. Now let's say that we have got a fraction such as 2/4, which is a half. That means A would be equal to 2 and B would be equal to 4. So let's take a look at what this says. We're going to find the highest common factor of A and B. So the first thing we need to do is check whether A mod B is equal to 0. So if I type in A mod B, press enter, it's 2. So we skip here and we go to the else because it wasn't 0, and we again run the highest common factor, but we swap around the values. Now the first value is B, so now I'm going to say that A is equal to 4 because that's what B was here, and B has to be A mod B from before, which is that blue value there, 2. So B equals 2. Now again I'm going to perform this if A mod B, so A mod B, and this time it is 0. So it is 0, so I return B, and B was 2. So the highest common factor between those two numbers was 2. So let's try something a little harder, see if we can work through what is going on. Let's take two numbers like A equals 48 and B equals 180. Now this is going to go through a few iterations, so let's see if we can make some sense out of what's going on. So the first thing that I do is take A mod B, which gives me 48. It isn't 0, so I'm going to swap around. So my B is going to be my A, so that is going to be A equals whatever B was, which is 180, and B is going to be the result of what I did, which is 48. Now I'm going to perform A mod B again. This time the answer's not 0, it's 36. So I'm going to have to go through this yet again. I'm going to have to do this HCF B and A mod B. So this time the first value is 48, so A needs to be 48 and B needs to be the blue value 36, which is A mod B. So perform the function again, A mod B. This time I have got 12, which again is not 0, so I'm going to find the highest common factor yet again. So the A part must be the B value, so A equals 36 and B is going to be 12. Then I'm going to run through it again, A mod B. This time I'm at 0, so I just return B as my highest common factor, so my highest common factor was 12. And if we do 100, well, let's start with what we did, 48 and 180. So 48 divided by 12 is 4, and 180 divided by 12 is 15. So that's 4/15, and we can see that they have no factors in common. So that is how the formula, the recursive formula, works. If you cast your mind back to maths, what you would have to do is for 48 you would need to break that down into its prime factors. So you'd have 48 which would give you 2 and 24, which would then give you 2 and 12, which would then give you 2 and 6, which would then give you 2 and 3, and then I've broken it down into all of its prime factors. I would do the same with 180, which would break down into 2 and 90, which would break down into 2 and 45, just dealing with the 90 here as I did just dealt with the second value each time, which would break down into 5 and 9, and that would break down into 3 and 3. So I've found all the prime factors. All I need to do now is multiply the common factors together to get the value, which would be 12. So that's the mathematical version. That is the recursive version. You could skip this if you want. If you understand, well done. If you don't, then have a look. Search on the internet for Euclid's algorithm and see how that works out.